Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Closer Experience. It's me, Pastor E, and you gonna tell me your name?
No.
Me, Pastor E, and Pastor Tony Cash. We're so
She
excited
know
to
my name.
to be here with you tonight. Uh, Reclaiming your money. We were asked to do something in regards to finances and something in regards to money, and so everyone knows the Cashes know that we're passionate about financial literacy and how important it is for us to become better with our finances. And so I am the mentor. Pastor Tony Cash is definitely the coach, and he brings a breadth of knowledge of when in regards to finances and how to strive financially. And so we're just going to dive into it tonight. I promise you, this is going to be very interactive. So we're going to be actually looking for you to drop some questions in the chat. Hopefully, we're able to answer those questions tonight for you. But we want this to be a discussion. It is definitely designed for it to be a dialogue, not a monologue. And we want to make sure that we're providing you with some nuggets to make sure you win in this fourth quarter. This past Sunday, I had opportunity to minister, and we were talking about it being a season of producing and what that means. And I kind of dropped some nuggets with everybody when it came to how the Wall Street Journal began to write an article that September is the new January. And so a lot of times we wait to the top of the year to realign our goals, and we come up with New Year's resolutions and visions and things that we want to see happen in our finances or just period in life. It could be health wise, it could be career goals, it could be marital goals, it could be educational goals, whatever it is that you aspire to be. It could be a purpose, passion, or anything that you kind of do outside that you want to be better at. And so, one of the key things is being financially sound. And so, I hope tonight that you're pulling up because you are one that desires to be financially better. Share this live with them right now. Go ahead and invite your friends to watch our master class for this fourth quarter, because when I say we're about to drop some powerful nuggets,
Absolutely.
we're about to drop some powerful nuggets. So it helps us with this whole algorithm that you like the video. First, like it, and then go ahead and share it, because if you want to get better, you want to make sure that you're connected to people, right? That can help you get better and that can support you to get better in your finances. So, anything you want to share before we dive into it?
Oh, I'm just excited. I'm just sitting here looking at my notes and just looking at what we're going to be sharing tonight, and super excited to be here with you. I'm reminded of the coffee commercial for Folgers, and it says the best part of waking up
Mm-hmm.
is Folgers in your cup. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I feel when I'm with you. That's the best part of waking up is having you
Mm-hmm.
beside me and
Okay.
doing things like this. So I'm super excited. And text some people and forward it to some people and invite some people who are just really needing some sound financial coaching, because that's what we do, the mentor and the coach. And we love doing it. It's not a paid gig, it's a passionate gig. Let me say it again. It's not a paid gig, it's a passion gig.
Yes.
It's something that we love doing because it's a way that we give back. So
Mhm.
uh, Deion Sanders is not the only one who can come up with some little slick sayings. You know what I
You know
mean? Like
what?
he ain't the only one.
Oh
Pastor
boy.
Tony got some in his repertoire also. It's not a paid gig. It's a what? Passion gig. You get that? You like that right there?
I do,
It's not a paid
dear.
gig. So I'm super excited.
So tonight is about reclaiming your money. Is there anybody that's watching tonight want to know how you can reclaim. The one thing about God is He's the God of the re. He allows us to reap and redo things and reinvent
Yes.
things and review things, and He's just the God that gives us second, third, and fourth chances. And one of the things that's most important is that we're in the fourth quarter of the year, and so you still have time to reclaim your money. You still have time to dive back into your financial goals. You still have time to save. And so we want to help you do that tonight. And we're going to jump right into it. So, the first thing we talked about was how to get back on track with your money. So, sometimes throughout the year, life happens. Sometimes you're just lifing it, right? You've kind of gotten off um, your discipline a little bit with your goals. You may have taken a trip that you didn't plan to take, or you may have had an emergency that you didn't plan to have, or an expense of something to happen, or an unexpected bill to come across your desk or your finances. So let's just talk a little bit about that. Like, life be life, and life just happens sometimes in finance. There's sometimes some things that we plan, and sometimes we just don't make decisions, and we don't count out the full cost of it. That kind of derails our financial goals for the year.
Yeah. You made a statement. So is there a question? I mean, I
Well,
first of all,
yes,
it reminded me of when you're fussing at me, and then you'll
yes,
do a whole soliloquy, and then I'm just looking at you like, and you're waiting on me to answer, and I'm like, babe, you didn't ask me a question.
yes.
You just made a statement. So what is your question, Queen?
So my question, dear, is about how to get back on track when things like that happen, because I wanted to just talk about how life kind of just be life, and sometimes,
Yeah.
and sometimes it could be discouraging when you're in the fourth quarter and you look up and you've had this savings margin and you didn't meet that goal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or you've had this credit card that you decided that you was going to throw all your money on, and then you didn't pay it down like you thought you were going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things is recognizing what you've done, first of all. I mean, it's hard to resolve what you don't recognize. So you first have to recognize what is the mistake or the mishap that I've made, because that's starting from ground zero, recognizing, oops, as Britney Spears says, oops, I did it again.
Mhm.
Recognizing what you've done, because in recognizing what you've done, you're pretty much recognizing three things. I would say you're recognizing what you've done, and once you recognize what you've done, you've recognized the damage you've done. Then you recognize how you did what you have done, and now you can recognize how to fix that. And so that's important. Just really owning the fact that, you know what, something went awry, something went wrong, or I just didn't make a good decision. And now it's time to recognize that. Secondly, um, uh, think about what the goal was. You say, well, why is that important? Because if you just recognize what you did wrong, but neglect to think about what the goal was, now you've taken your eyes off the prize. The reason you want to think about what the goal was is because just like you fall off of a horse, you can get back on a horse. So you want to recognize what the goal was. And thirdly, you have to ascertain whether you had a good plan from the beginning. Because sometimes the reason the plan is derailed is because it was not a good plan for you in the beginning. What am I saying? It may be an overall good plan, but it may not suit your personality. See, financial plans have to suit your personality. So if you know that you are a person that is a spender, or what do they call those people who compulsive spender,
Yes.
then guess what? Part of your plan has to be for the funds not to be easily attained.
Mhm.
Maybe an account where you don't have a debit card for, where you'd have to literally call someone, they transfer the funds over, and by that time, that adrenaline that you have to spend is over. Imagine if sin was like that. If we could compartmentalize our sin and say, okay, Lord, before I do this, I got to go through 3 steps. And by the time I go through the 3 steps, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to sin anymore. So can you imagine how beautiful life would be then? Well, you have to know your financial personality. I think I did something on that one time,
Yes, you
talking
did.
about knowing your personal financial personality.
Yeah. You do. It's almost as if you have to eh, basically put up some safeguards to help you what to help prohibit you from your spending habits or whatever the help you self correct some of the habits until you grow to a place where okay, I can normalize my accounts because I have grown to a place where now I don't have to like hide stuff from me. So then, I make sure I don't spend what I'm not supposed to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to start off making. It's like you doing an assessment. You sitting down assessing your worth. Your what is it called when you how much you're worth? What is it called when you looking at your not self worth, but when you look at your assets and liabilities and you come up with is that your self worth?
Your financial
Worth.
worth of yeah, whatever.
Whatever that number is, okay? So you want to look at all of your assets, you want to list them, and then you want to look at all your liabilities, and you want to list that everything that you've like your debt, your student loans. You want to list your credit cards. You want to list your mortgage if you have one. You want to list your car note. You want to list everything. You want to reevaluate everything that you have and lay it all the way out on the table and kind of do an assessment of where you are because sometimes even when it comes to certain bills like the ones that are unexpected, the ones that you keep ignoring, like maybe that medical bill that you have, that lab court bill that is sitting over there that has a number attached to it, but you don't want to open it. You want to do a fair evaluation of where you are so then you can know what your financial picture
You're
is.
probably speaking about net worth,
Yes, net worth. Why
but
did I
you
think about it? I think
because
of that word.
you're doing a lot of you're not questioning, you're doing a lot of teaching. So as
Oh,
you're teaching, that's why you can't remember because you're doing a lot of teaching, you're going forward, but it's net worth.
okay,
That's
okay.
what it is.
Yes,
It's net worth.
yes. All right. So when we get back on track with your money, he mentioned that we do some type of evaluation and look at our finances, and that's good for us to do that. The other part is how to respond to mishaps. So what does that look like?
That's what I said in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's already been spoken. That's what we were talking about. That's the mishap when they've not done or achieved the particular goals that they set. That's what we were talking about, doing a full assessment of what is the goal that you didn't achieve, what was the goal you didn't achieve, understanding that, what's the mistake that you made, why you made the mistake, what is it about your financial personality that you might need to change. Was that really a good goal for you anyway, because we want to make goals that are achievable.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make goals that we can reach, not just setting financial goals that aren't achievable. So that really is a part of what I first stated.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes I think I find that a few of my friends, when they get to the last quarter of the month, people get excited about
Month or year.
I'm sorry, the last quarter of the year, people get excited about spending. So this is the time that even um, all the retails are rolling out Christmas things and the holidays, and people are getting excited about spending. What should you do if you haven't reached your financial goal, but it's get ready to be the holiday season? Like, how do you balance that? Because what do you do? Because you still want to, enjoy the holiday season. How do you prepare for that
Well,
if you haven't reached?
you should project the tears you're going to have on January 1st and whether you want to have those tears, because that's exactly what's going to happen if you have unbalanced financial behavior.
Mhm.
So you should really project and look at, how do I want to feel in January? Because as important as November and December is, January is the month of truth, because that's normally when it's time to pay the piper. So, again, we go back to being intentional about our decisions. We go back to understanding what the goals, financial goals are. We go back to understanding our financial personality. I can't say that enough, because if you don't understand your financial personality, you may assume things about yourself that aren't true. So if you think I'm a good saver, but and the results are never there, then no matter what you think about yourself, that's not who you are. And so really projecting, well, what do I want to feel in January? Do I want to feel great about the end of the quarter? Do I want to feel like I've accomplished something, or do I want to feel down in the dumps because I've overspent, overreacted to the emotions of the holiday, uh, 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 and lacked self-discipline? So that's what I would say.
Mhm. So when you think about, because I want to just think about some practical things that we can do, because the holiday is approaching, and with that, so are you saying, oh, don't spend anything, or are you saying only spend cash and not swipe your credit card? Like, let's give the people some practical ways that they could navigate.
Yeah. So being very transparent,
Mhm.
if you ever sit down with me and I coach you in finances, I'm probably a little different than most financial coaches, because I deal with psychology of money more than more than the physical actions that one might tell you to do. And by that I mean, if the psychology of a person is not right regarding finances, it really doesn't matter how many checkbook uh, checkbooks you give them, balance books to give them. It really doesn't matter um, how much advice you give them, until they can understand that this thing is about the psychology, the way you think and respond. So you say some very natural processes is, don't spend what you can't afford to laugh about after you spend it. If you're going to spend it and it's going to bring tears, guess what? Number one, don't spend it. Don't spend what you know you need for your bills, or for other things that are important in your life. Number three, say no to people when you know you don't have it like that. Lose your pride. Number four, the holiday season is not for you to be happy during that period and to be sad afterwards. So mind
Right.
your emotions.
Yes.
Understand that this is a short period of the year. You got another 10 to 11 months that you have to live.
That's good, because last year we decided that we weren't going to spend a whole lot. We came up with a budget, that what we were going to spend and what we were going to purchase for the kids. It was a very low amount. Okay, very, very, very low amount. And we baked cookies. Everybody got cookies for Christmas, and Christmas cards, right? So we had a certain number that we were gonna spend, period, per gift, and it was, so you got to come up whatever what your budget is. And even people that we normally buy luxury gifts from, was like, we went ahead and told them, this year you're getting cookies, because we because we have goals, and you have to be all right with that. And so if that makes you not want to buy me a present because you're gonna get cookies instead, then that's fine. We got all that we could need. But in this season, this is just what this is the decision that we made, for our finances, was that we were going to crunch down this last quarter, and not spend, not overspend. So then we're crying in January. So I hope this is helpful. Are y'all? Is this helpful for you? Please drop some comments, drop some questions. Y'all talk back to us. Let us know what it is that you're thinking. Please let us know if you have any questions. and we'll make sure that we answer that for you
Yeah.
tonight.
But I recall that season and asking somebody. I said, so how much? Because we told them
Yes.
what we were going to spend. So I said, well, how much are you going to spend on the gift for me or us? I'm like, somewhere between $40 and $60. I said, well, guess what, sugar? Go ahead, you keep that 40, 60, and take these cookies. Now you got your money and some cookies.
You know
You
what?
understand? Because what you have to do sometimes is help people help themselves.
Themselves. Yes.
Because sometimes the emotions
Yes.
that the commercials,
Yes.
all the commercials come. That's why we're
Yes.
doing this, because we know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Target is going to be decked out.
They're already
Walmart is
starting.
going to finally wash in front of their stores and clean the sidewalk.
Right.
Huh? Clean the sidewalk. Uh, uh, Amazon is going to have some specials,
You're
and
gonna get all the emails.
you're going to get all the
Yes.
emails
And
and
text messages.
yeah, and
All the sales.
Wayfair and
And
Macy's
Macy's. Oh yes. All the sales.
and so you have to really decide before the season comes
Yes.
what you want to accomplish, because if you start trying to do that during the season, it's going to be real hard.
Yes.
But if you say, you know what, prior to the season,
Yes.
as my wife said, this is all we can do.
Yes.
Now we can give you a lot of love. You can come over and eat some turkey with us.
Mhm.
You can come over and look at a little football with us. But you really have to be disciplined, because you cannot allow your present to destroy your future.
That's good. I'm glad you said that, because that's sometimes what happens. And the reason why we're parking it right here is because this is the season that sometimes we kind of derail our financial future, and that's just the truth. We do. We get all excited. We get caught up in the emotions, and we become an emotional spender. Where we say, "Oh, we set a budget for 500, and then you go over 1,000 on top of that."
Hmm.
And it can easily happen, especially with inflation.
Yeah,
Like,
when you finish, I want to say something. Go ahead.
um,
It just occurred to me.
especially with inflation, there's nothing like going in the store saying, "Okay, I want to spend $100," right?
Mm,
And it used to be that you could find something, you could get 10 things for a hundred
yeah.
dollars, but that's not okay. They have done a double markup almost. To me, it seems like some things that used to cost 10 now can cost anywhere from 15 to 20. So
Yes.
it's like reimagining what that means. And so I can tell you, I am unsubscribing, and I do this all the time. I audit my emails. I unsubscribe from anything that's going to send me a whole bunch of coupons, a whole bunch of things to tell me to shop, spend, anything that's going to text me. I say stop, because I have to have my
Mm.
mind
Can you
shift.
unsubscribe to the light bill and the water bill, sugar?
Well, I,
Unsubscribe to them right there, because they
we
getting on my nerves
well
sending me.
we
You
need
can't
to
unsubscribe to
we
them.
can't
Okay.
unsubscribe from
All right.
them.
Well, it don't hurt to try. I was just
Mhm.
asking, baby. Could we unsubscribe
Those
to
are
the
those are
utilities?
they're not wants, those are needs.
Oh, you can't unsubscribe them.
No,
Okay.
yeah,
Help me. Help me. I do want to add something to this that I think will help,
yes.
which is um, I want you to be careful about the need to impress others during the holiday season.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you this because as a person who has helped thousands of people with their finances, one of the things that you have to resist is the need to impress others,
Mhm.
to
Yes.
deck your house out in such a
Yes.
way that
Yes.
it's $400, $500 just in decorations, to buy gifts to a point to you just like, I just like to see when people open my gift. It just really does something to me. Yes, it's called broke, make you break, cause you to be broke.
Yes.
That's what it does to you. And so this need to impress others, or some people will buy big ticket items
Mhm.
during the holiday, like cars for a spouse and things of that nature, because they're caught up in that moment. And so it's this euphoria where it's like, ooh, if I get them this car during the holiday season, put a ribbon around it. And what I notice about the cars that have the ribbon around them is that ain't no ribbon when the monthly note comes. They don't put
Oh,
yeah, they don't put a nice ribbon around that. You get what I'm saying?
yes,
And I'm not saying don't buy a vehicle if you can afford it, and that's what you need. What I'm saying is one of the greatest challenges in the fourth quarter is people trying to impress others.
yes,
They don't want even their own children. They don't want their children to feel any less than the neighbor, so they say, "Well, I want to buy them the same amount of shoes and toys and things that the neighbor children have, so that my children don't feel bad." But I just have a feeling that your children will feel a lot better when they realize they have a college fund, when they realize that you're gonna help put 30, $40,000 on their first home, when they
yeah,
realize that you're gonna leave
yes,
some money for their children's children. I just have this strange feeling that they'll get over not having $1,000 Christmases.
yeah. I like that. Those are all great and value points. We don't want to harp on the holidays too much, but that is just the season that we're going into. And as we shared before, that just tends to be the time where people forget their goals and they just tuck them away and say, "Well, I'll do this
Okay, let's
next
just
year."
be down to earth. They lose their mind when they get up in Macy's and Amazon
Right.
and
Yes.
Target and Walmart. They start turning into DMX.
Yes.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind
Up in here.
up
Yes,
in here. And
you
you
do.
know how some of you are, 'cause
And then all those credit card offers,
oh
they say, "Oh,
man.
well, you get 10% off. Do you want to save 10% today? Would you like to save?" And don't fall for it.
Oh, I told a lady at Marshall, true
Yes.
story, baby.
Uh-huh.
I told a lady at Marshall, I have two. One of them when it was a long line, and I guess they think you're gonna be embarrassed if you say no. So
Right.
she asked me about the credit card, and I said, "Ma'am, y'all don't want me my credit because my credit's so bad that they will arrest me on site." I said, "They'll just shut your doors," and and she said, "It can't be that bad." I said, "It is."
Mhm.
And then the second lady who asked me before about the 10%. I said, no, I want to save 100%. She
Right.
said, what do you mean? I said, by not getting your credit card, I'm saving
Yes.
100%,
Yes.
not 10%. So
Yes.
you got to really think about this thing because this is your financial life.
It is. And I'm glad we're on the credit card thing too, because when it's time to reevaluate, coming out of debt, one of the things that you should do is pull your credit report, right? So can you talk to them a little bit
Yeah,
about?
I think you could talk about that and even kind of share a personal thing that by you
Yeah.
being
Uh huh.
one who take care of watching your credit,
Yes.
how it helped you thwart some wrongdoing, baby.
Well, absolutely. So, because we're in this space where we like to manage our finances well and are great with stewarding what God has given us, one of the things that I do is I monitor our accounts and I also monitor my credit report. So this is one of the things that I monitor my account daily. I don't know about y'all. Do you all check your your checking and your savings daily? I do. I monitor it because you swipe your card so many different places. I want to make sure that not only that I'm balancing and things are of that nature, but also make sure that no one has gotten my information and have taken advantage of me. And
Right.
so I want to monitor that. The other piece is auditing and monitoring your credit score. So if your goal is to improve your credit score, pay your bills on time, knock down some credit, you got to make sure that you're monitoring your credit score and monitoring your credit. And you can do that on a weekly basis. You can contact Equifax. What's the other one? TransUnion, and
And
then and,
experience.
and Experian. You can contact all of them, and then they can give you a credit report for free, right? No charge. They're gonna offer you all of this other stuff that has nothing to do with the free report. You can turn all of that down, but you want to make sure that you're monitoring your credit report. And the reason being is somebody may even take a credit card out on you, or something may be on there that's wrong or incorrect. So I had someone try to open up a credit card in my name, and I had got an email about it, and I had got a text message about it. And I was like, I didn't, you know, authorize this? This seems very weird. And so I was monitoring it, and then I saw where it says that this particular credit card company had pulled a hit on my credit report. And I was like, so then I contacted that credit card company and went ahead and was able to stay ahead of it and let them know I had not applied for a credit card. That needed to go ahead and shut that down. That someone else was doing fraud on my credit. So we were able to go ahead and shut it down before someone was able to go to the store and do it and do damage in my name.
Yes.
So, but that only happens when you're being intentional about monitoring your credit, and especially around this time of season. You want anybody getting a credit card in your name and they going shopping, and it takes a while to get that removed. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring your credit so you can help achieve your goals. Y'all have any questions? Is this good
Yeah,
for you
yeah, yeah.
guys?
We do have some questions.
Okay,
Pastor Terrence Reed said asks,
you gotta push them up. Okay,
huh?
no, go ahead.
How effective is your credit score in the realm of redeeming your money? And I think he's trying to figure out like how important is it? It's very important because the thing about it is what we and this is going to be a little deeper than I care to go, but where we're trying to get to with our credit is where we're using someone else's money, not our money, to create our wealth. And so having good credit is important to that because it allows you leverage and means to create wealth using someone else's money and not having to use yours, so that if you have some issues or challenges that you need to use cash for, you have that opportunity, and then you have the credit for the expansion of building wealth, because all credit is not bad. We are certainly not proponents of no credit at all. What we are proponents of is good credit, where credit is going for good reasons, such as building financial wealth, such as uh, cre- uh, uh, responding to financial opportunities that maybe your cash isn't enough for, but the credit will help you get there, and you know that there's going to be a great return on that. And then that's a little deeper than I care to go, but that's what makes credit so important, because it opens up the opportunity for you to have greater wealth when you know what to do with it. And you know, Jay-Z has this song that I love, and he talks about that. And in the song, he talks about how the different cultures built their wealth. And he says it was credit. They didn't have the money, but they learned the American way, which is keep your credit straight. And there's not much you can't build and have in America if you know how to handle credit.
Right. And I love the way that you diced up, the good credit versus, the bad credit. And then not only that, the fact that, if you're going to utilize it, make sure that it is providing a return on your investment. A lot of times we're in trouble because we're using credit for liabilities. You're not going to get a return on a pair of shoes. You're
That's
not going to
right.
get a return on an outfit. You're not going to get a
That's right.
return on a trip that was surpass your budget that you should have used cash for. So those are the things that make sense. It's making sense about using the credit, so then when you receive the return on investment, you can go back and you can pay that down and pay it off. But if you have a year full of liabilities and you don't have any assets, then you're not going to get any return on it. So at the end of the year, when you're looking at, okay, what did I net this year, you won't find yourself in the black, you'll
Yeah,
find yourself
yeah.
in the red.
Yeah, when you talk about, if it's not, if you're spending on something that you can't sell once you buy it, because there's just no value to it, you can't keep it long term to pass down to family members or those who you want to inherit it. It does not increase your net worth, then it's a liability. And you have to be careful, as the mentor said here, in saying, now, when I do this, because I've had people who, I've had to talk to them, sweetheart, about, they said, well, I've always been told that a car is a liability. I said, not necessarily.
Not if it can get you to a good paying job.
Right. If that car can get you to a good paying job,
Right.
can make sure that you're not broke down on the side of the
Yes.
road. But not only that, if you can, if you're one of the few people who can say, I'm going to pay a low amount, but I'm going to pay for it in cash,
Yes.
and the return on it is going to be greater than what I paid, then a car can be a great asset. I
Mhm.
will say this: I'm not here to tell people uh, uh, that having a nice car uh, is a is wrong. Let me say that. But I am telling you that it is the least important thing you can do when building your wealth. Now you do want a car that is
Mhm.
reliable that you can get from point A to point B, and you may want it to have a decent look. But if you make $70,000 a year and your car costs 60,000 or 50,000, you have to stop and think about how crazy that really sounds, because you just purchased a liability now that is almost equal to your income.
Yes.
And if you take away the taxes and medical and all of those things that come out of our paycheck, then it's probably more than what you bring home.
That's not
Stop and
including
think
the
about
gas
that.
and the maintenance. Oh,
So,
yes. We could go on and on, I promise you. But one of the things, if you're looking to find, we'll share this little tidbit. If you're looking to find how to, let's say you're looking to find how you can cut back or save money. Sometimes I always tell people, look at your subscriptions. I know
yeah.
we were, you can sometimes get all excited about subscribing to all these different subscriptions. We have to do evaluation of ours at the beginning of the year, before the beginning of the year. Like, are we going to keep Netflix? Are we going to keep Disney? Are we going to keep? How often do we use this? Whatever subscriptions you have, if is it Apple Music, or if it's there's so many different apps out there. There's so many different subscriptions that kind of come out, and they add up. And so when you look at all the subscriptions you have, you are you really saving money if you're putting out $200-300 a month on these various different subscriptions?
Yeah.
So lifestyle changes this last quarter is huge to making sure that you have money set aside to
Mhm.
do other things with.
I had a coaching session, was it earlier this year? And I kid you not, and the person had 400 and some odd dollars in just
Hmm.
subscriptions.
Yes.
Like that was all it was, just subscriptions. Now you stop and think about that $400 times 12,
Hmm.
which is about 4,800, I would think. And then if you do that unbeknownst to you over a 10-year period, not even thinking, you're talking about $50,000 that have gone up in smoke just in prescription. And that's why the number one thing I can tell anybody, I'm not trying to promote myself, but I just can't seem to get black people to do this. And so I get
Black people.
irritated.
Okay.
You need a financial coach.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be me. What I'm saying is, you need
Yes.
someone that will sit down with you and coach you on your finances. And it's not just the money part that a good coach does, but they also teach you and help you psychologically in how to think about money, where the opportunities are for your money, where there are places that you can use your money, or ways you can use your money that is beneficial to you and your family. And I say this a lot because we think we can Google everything, and we
Yes.
think we can
Yes.
look everything up online, but your situation is not Googleable. It's I know that's not a
He
word,
made
but
up a word.
I made up a word, but it's distinct to who you are,
Yes,
and you need a coach that will that can help you
yes,
deal distinctly with your challenges. Google doesn't know your individual challenges. Google can't pick up your emotions and the way you're thinking and the bad thinking you've uh, grown up with all of your life. Um, I did a thing on your financial DNA. Remember that? It may be out there, but I thought I coined that. That we all have a financial DNA,
yes,
and it is the financial DNA is the financial behaviors we're born with
yes,
because of the parents we have,
yes,
the financial behaviors we see as a child, we see as a teenager, and we begin to replicate as an adult. My
right,
God, did you hear that?
yeah,
We're born with it from
yes,
our parents and their financial behavior. We see it as a child,
yes,
we see it as a teenager, and then we replicate that as an adult, and it becomes our financial DNA because that's all we've ever known, we've ever seen, we've ever seen. Everybody who gets a decent job buys a new car. Everybody who gets a decent job goes out and buys $3,000 worth of clothes. Everyone in the family who gets a new car, they have to make sure that everybody knows, so they treat everybody to $1,000 dinner. Like, you got to know your financial DNA, and you got to help find someone, if it's not good, help you deal with that financial DNA that may be wrecking your financial future.
and that is so powerful because it can contribute to your DNA can contribute to a lot of your poor money management behaviors that you're having. It could be you never saw anyone, have great credit. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
grow up in a home that you talked about credit or the importance of having great credit or the importance of managing your finances. Moving past, you talked about the paycheck to paycheck mentality, moving past the paycheck. Oh, this is just the life that we live. We live from paycheck to paycheck, not in the overflow, not ever knowing what it feels like to live beyond in that particular moment. Or when you're just living in a lifestyle and running with people where you already always swap and spit, right? I think that's what he says when, okay, I borrow from you this week, and then you turn
Yeah.
around, you pay me back, then I borrow from you this week. That is not the village that you want to be around. You want to make sure that you're in a space where you can
Mm-hmm.
thrive
That's right.
financially and become better. And so tonight we've talked about a few things already. You talked about assessing your financial situation. That was number one. We also talked about setting some financial goals, re-looking at what your financial goals are. We also talked a little bit about building an emergency fund. What does that look like? How to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses in case of an unexpected emergency. We also talked about prioritizing debt repayment. How do you do that? Monitor your debt, make sure you monitor your credit. And then I talked about cutting unnecessary expenses. And so these are the 5 things so far that we've talked about. The last one I'm going to let you go in is about increasing income. Talk to the people about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing about it is if you're, and I've said this, I remember getting in trouble one time. I was preaching at a church I belonged to, and I said this, and the people loved it, but the leadership was a little irritated when I said it. But I said, we can help people, but we need to help people the right way.
Mhm.
When you come to me as a man, I said this, and you're telling me you need financial help, what I want to do is help you get an additional job.
Mhm.
Because if your bills are 9 to 10 p.m.,
Right.
then your work schedule should
Yes.
be 9 to 10 p.m.
Yes.
You can't have 9 to 10 p.m. bills and get off at 5 and come home and sit down and
Yes.
unbuckle your pants and sit back and look at the news. No, 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 no. Your bills dictate what time you get off of work.
Yes.
and that's just, that says that I'm first being responsible for my own finances. But then after you do that, I want to go back to something, which is you can't have a $30 a week coffee habit, which I know people who have that.
Yes.
But then when a financial advisor says, I want $100 for 2 hours, you go, oh my God, you want, yeah. But if $100 is gonna help you save
Yes.
thousands of dollars, set you and your family up for financial well-being, but you'd rather poop out coffee because that gives you that instant feeling. You really got to think about these things because it sounds silly, but there are people who will do, and they don't think about this. If it's $30 a week, you got to do 30 times 4, which is $120 a month coffee habit, but you wouldn't spend $100 to rectify your financial well-being and ensure that you're able to be blessed financially generation after generation.
You know what? I'm glad. I hope you guys are enjoying our conversation tonight. Please make sure you drop it in chat. We only have a few more minutes ahead of us, but this is a hard conversation to have. It just is. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess I do kind of know why. With African Americans, us Black folks, you know, we're not so great about talking about money.
Yeah, we
And
hide a lot though. We
we
don't want anybody to know.
yeah, because we want to dress it up and we want the outer appearance to look like, we rather look like we got it going on. We rather dress like we have it going on than physically have it going on in the bank. And so our goal is not to, because see, now when you set standards these days, people say you judging. You know, our disposition is not to set judgment, but our disposition is to set the bar where we can thrive financially as people. We can get better financially, where we can leave a legacy for our children's children, not a legacy of debt, not a legacy of mismanaging money, not a legacy of being slick and trying to think you can, you know, outdo the government and outdo this and outdo that and always, you know, no, but really having a mindset shift on what it means to thrive
Yes.
financially. Are some of the things systematically racial? Yes, they are. But then some things we're not even helping ourselves where we can help.
Yes.
We're not even trying to thrive. We're okay with selling and being mediocre in certain areas when it comes to our finances because we don't want to do the hard work, like not spend for 30 days. Let me just not spend for 30 days and let me see how much I can save. Let me try to break this habit. And it's funny because I used to be a huge shopper, right? I really did. And I have friends who say, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" Like, and I've given away everything that I didn't need. That some things I wasn't even wearing, and I got like four or five pairs of jeans, a couple of shirts I can, uh, shift up a little bit, and that's it. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, I spent all this money on these clothes, and I didn't have anything in the bank. Like it was crazy. This was all liabilities. It was no assets. It was no return on investment. But then I could say that I couldn't save. No, no, no. I was spending my savings on unnecessary things. And so that's just me being transparent. You can do it. If I can do it, if I can change my mindset, if I can change my palate, if I can change my spending habits, if I can change my ideology about money, so
Mhm.
can you.
Look, we're about to close, but we have one last question, and I
Yes.
know we're at the time, but Miss Ann Walker asked a very pertinent question. And she asked, "Do you believe we should get our investment license to educate our community?" Um, and that's a double-edged sword, and because number one, the natural answer would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, because I've been in finances as long as I've been in finances, and I've seen how our community respond to investing. Um, I think we have an uphill battle that we have to just keep fighting because you never want to say that it's not possible for our people to change, but I almost want to say it's time to go hard at our elementary and high school kids
Yes, it is.
because
It is.
some of our 25, 30-year-olds have been indoctrinated from what the parents think
And
and,
culture.
and culture,
Yes.
and they have become afraid to invest,
Yes.
afraid to take risks. And let me say this
Know
because,
nothing about long-term
and let me
gratification.
say this in case some of them are watching, they don't like to share anything about their financial situation. They have a lot. I've got at least 30, 20 to 30-year-olds. They have direct access to me. Phone number. They can come to my house anytime. And you know when I hear from them? Once it's all wrecked.
Hmm. Once
And
they made the bad
they've
decision.
made and it is because it's a learned behavior where they want to experience the gratification now. They don't want to delay the gratification. But the other part is, let's just be real. They don't want to hear, no, you can't do that.
Yes.
And so, and I really do believe that we need more licensed people to educate our people on investments. But I think even before we get to the investment part, our people have to be willing to accept and be a part of the learning about just good money management, period.
Yes.
And again, this is not a guy who is not accustomed to what I'm about to say. This is what I've experienced for a long time. They don't want to pay for things that really matter.
But it's a culture thing. It's a culture thing that we can't put our finger on in. And I'm glad because we know quite a few licensed financial advisors, right? And so what they have shared with us is the people that come in their office does not look like them. If you were to go into a predominantly African American community, you do not see a lot of your Franklin, what is it, all the different advisor
Mm-hmm.
places. You don't see the
Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab. They're not in the black community. Why? Because we're not the people walking through their doors. It's not people that look like you and I that are walking through the doors. But if you go into other communities, they're on almost every corner. What's on our corner? Paycheck, what
Uh-huh.
the paycheck people, the liquor
You can
stores.
get your title.
You
You can
get
get your
the
pawn
title mat,
title.
all those kind of companies,
Popeyes.
Popeyes, all the things
But I
that.
want to say something because
Yes.
in case people think this is just only white people not wanting to appease to us, because I want to be careful because Ann said something. She said that she's an investment license, and she understand they educate them, and it becomes their choice to change their mind. But she says, I agree with you. And then she said, yes, it is a culture thing. Um, because what I can tell you is that I managed in predominantly black communities.
Yes.
And anybody who knows me know I'm not getting ready to ask you to be a part of anything that's going to be harmful to you. I'm going that I remember my organization couldn't get me to sell certain things and they would get mad because I said that may work in a predominantly white or Asian community, but that's not good for our community. And I just wouldn't sell it. And I know that it would get, and I got to hit my goals another way. But the other thing I want to say to be fair to our Caucasian sisters and brothers when it comes to investing is this. I would go above and beyond, make sure that the licensed broker give all of the information
Yes.
clear, because I'm sure Ann can attest to this, we can give you what has happened in the last 5 years with
Yes.
that particular
Yes.
investment.
Hmm.
and we can give you a projected view.
Yes.
And on some of them, we can't guarantee, but some of them, such as annuity and things like that, those licensed people like Ann, they can say this will be your return. And I would have clients with 50, 100,000 in the account, and they would say, "No, I like to see my money." After all of that work and all of that, and we're trying to explain to them, okay, you do know in 10 years that 100,000 will be worth about 90 because of inflation. And you couldn't get them to budge because they were risk adverse. They have gotten to a place where they didn't understand, not putting anybody's savings down, but they didn't understand in our time that $50,000 wasn't a lot of money. $100,000, it's just it's in what it takes to live for today, you see. And so I seen this with my own eyes where there would be guaranteed returns on some products,
Yes.
and they would still say, "No, I'm good, Mr. Cash. I just don't want to." And I'm like, "But look at what you can earn." I mean, and I can't sell those products, but at one time I can say this: we had this index link type product. I don't want to call its name, but and it was given like a guaranteed rate, base rate, and then it was telling you that in 5 years,
Hmm.
this is what you could possibly get, but you won't lose your funds, and you're guaranteed this rate. And I'm sure Ann knows what I'm talking about. And I was just because I like this is it because number one, my people can't lose their money, so I know I can sell that. Number two, the upside is if you don't earn anything, you're gonna get this amount and your money back, but you could possibly earn 5, 6, 7%. And it was just the idea that they couldn't get to it.
Right.
And so this is my last story, and I came home and shared this with my wife. I had a 22-year-old young lady who her mother passed. I don't know if you remember me telling you this, and she received like 100,000, and I begged her to do an investment and got her to do 50 of it because I just knew where that money was going to go. She did 50,000. She had the account maybe for 60 days, and she came back and cashed it out
Hmm.
in 60 days.
Right.
But this is the part that brought tears to my eyes. She and I got in a verbal altercation in a year's time because she had spent all the money and she wanted me to cash a check for a boyfriend who didn't have the proper ID. Within a year, $100,000
Was
was
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
I will never forget that story because I begged her.
Yeah. And
But
but that's what we see a lot. Um, a lot of financial advisors share that they see a lot in our community. Period. Is they say, well, come to me after you have $10,000 just in savings. Because if you come in, you invest your 10 grand, and then you got to come back to me in 3 months to pull it, then we're not going to get anywhere because you got to put it in a vehicle that you got to watch over time. And our community, we haven't been accustomed to watching our money grow over time. We want it to grow instantly. We rather say we're gonna work until we die, or we're gonna play the Powerball and we wish it that we're gonna get this money. And that's just we have to move past that phenomenon. Like, oh, I'm gonna always work. I'm gonna always have debt. I never can get to a place where I have 100,000 or
and
two
that's
hundred
not
thousand,
true.
and that's not true. You just have to put in the discipline to take those necessary steps to get there, because it is possible. And make sure you surround yourself, get a financial coach or a financial advisor that can help you navigate, look at your financial picture and listen to them.
Hmm.
It's funny because we have people around us all the time that could be so much further. They don't take advantage of us like they should. You could be so much further financially if you came to see the people that can help you.
Well,
But
because
but
they don't
but
want to hear no.
they don't want to hear no, and pride. You don't want to reveal that really you got $20. But if you come with the $20 and we help you grow the $20,
Now
then
let's send them to Miss Ann Walker for that $20. Y'all, we're gonna send y'all
Miss
to
Ann, give
Ann.
us your phone number so we
And we're
can
gonna
send them
send
to
y'all the
you.
$20 to Miss Ann, but in all seriousness, she's like, no, don't send them my way. She needs 20,000, I'm sure. But we're at the close, so
We
I know
are,
we gotta
yeah.
and um Pastor Lisa Reed says we have to get past spending it quickly. We got to know how to hold them. So she's on some type of song. She said you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I guess you hear that, Pastor Terry? She said you got to know when to hold them, when to fold them, bruh. She put a song out there for you.
Okay. But tonight, before we close, we want to say use the setback as an opportunity to learn about your financial habits and make necessary adjustments. So tonight is about let's make the necessary adjustments. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's not too late to win, but what you do in the fourth quarter really does matter. If you continue to ignore the pile of bills that's over there, or if you continue to not monitor your credit, if you continue to not make the necessary adjustments and make the necessary scaling that needs to happen in the fourth quarter, then you won't achieve your goals. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we came to provoke you tonight to win with your money. It's not too late. So let's just be a part of the and reconstruct, reconnect, do all the things that are necessary to win. Anything you want to share with the people before we leave?
Just so grateful to be here and just tell you how pretty you look. So I mean, I know we're supposed to be talking about money,
We
but
are. We
but
are.
I
We're
just keep
helping the
looking over
people.
to the
Yes.
right and seeing how pretty you look. So that makes me know. When you have a pretty woman, you gotta have some money. I just want to tell the brothers out there, you can't be
Focus.
broke.
Focus.
You can't be broke with a pretty woman now. I'm
Focus.
just telling you, all the sisters put it in the chat. Tell them now, brother, you can't be broke as pretty and fine as I am. You gotta have some money. So I might have to get me another job because I'm recognizing that I got a pretty fine woman. So I know the sisters gotta put that in the chat and say, brother, you gotta have some money. But it's really, in all seriousness, it's really important
Mhm.
that we take this quarter not to be the end,
Yes.
but to be the beginning
Yes.
of a new and greater and
Yes.
better than ever financial life.
Y'all run hard now. This is the season. Run hard. Get that extra job if you need to. Get the part-time gig. If you need to bring in extra income, whatever it is you need to do, make the decision and make it immediately. We can still win in the fourth quarter. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching the Closer Experience. We're way over time, but
But
that's
this is way overdue.
yeah, it is way overdue. So till next time, hopefully we catch you in the new year with talking about how you can win with your finances. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, and we'll be right back here next
Oh, yo,
Wednesday.
you can find me at tonycash.org, tonycash.org if you need to holler at the coach and the mentor.
God bless you.
God
Good night.
bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.